Hi, my name is Sarah and my channel is knottygnome Crafts. Welcome to another Friday Sews. If you're unaware, Friday Sews is a hashtag that was started by Jen of Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and make sure that you click on the hashtag and check out all of the videos of the people who participate in the Friday Sews, because you'll get to see a ton of different projects and plans and a little bit of life from around the sewing community. Before we get started, I am wearing my Simplicity 9239 shirt jacket that I did finish this week. And as promised, I'm going to be bringing you a full review coming up this week. And so if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss this review. So I'm not going to go into details about the shirt jacket, but I am going to talk about the other things that I finished this week. So after I finished the Simplicity, the next thing that was on my list to sew was my needle sharp box. Now I do need to pause for a moment to tell you a little bit of an update on Needle Sharp. So I have canceled my subscription for the time being. The company put up a new website and it was supposed to make things easier, but for 3 months in a row I had problems with my account. At one point they charged me twice, and at one point they charged me shipping, even though shipping is supposed to be free for subscriptions. I had to contact the company multiple times to get my shipping refunded. And then this past month that just occurred, I wasn't charged at all for my subscription, even though I had signed up. And the deadline to get your subscription locked in had passed, and they never charged my credit card. And I was just tired of having to contact the company every single month with problems. So I just decided that for right now, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't have time to deal with it. I don't need to be emailing them every month with some issue. So I've just canceled my subscription for now. It's a shame because I do still like the service. And I will be putting a note in the description box of my Needle Sharp review, kind of updating and linking to this video just so everyone knows what's going on. But yeah, I'm not adverse to perhaps resubscribing next year if they get things ironed out with a new website, but for now it's just not worth the aggravation that it was causing me. So I've canceled. So my next project was the chalk and notch page hoodie that I lengthened into a dress, as I stated that I was going to do last week. So as far as the pattern logistics go, I cut out the size 0, and I made the version with the full sleeve. So there's a slim sleeve and then there is a full sleeve that gets gathered into the cuff, and I chose the fuller sleeve. The way that I lengthened it was that I measured a dress that I already own, and then I on the pattern piece from the center back, I measured down 33 inches and made a mark at center back. And then the sides are slightly shorter than the back, so I think it was like an inch or 3/4 of an inch shorter that I measured on the side seam, and then just kind of used my French curve and just made a gentle swooping curve in the back, and that's how I did the back piece. And then I just did the front to match so that they matched up at the side seams. So that's how I lengthened it, and I did not put a band on, and so I left the edges raw. Because I don't like the way that a band looks on a sweatshirt dress. I think that it can look kind of, I don't know, I don't like the way that it looks cinched in on the thighs. So I wanted to leave that part off. This is a Raglan hoodie. And so I didn't really follow the pattern instructions because I did deviate quite a bit on construction. So one of the things that I did differently was that I did not line the hood. So I never wear hoodies, or I mean I wear hoodies all the time, but I don't wear hoods. Like even if it were pouring rain outside, I just would not think to put the hood up. I don't know why, I just don't like wearing hoods. I only like them as a decorative element. So a lining on the hood is not necessary for me functionally. And also I don't like a lined hood because it weighs it down in the back. And I find that when, especially this style of neckline, when the hood is lined, it kind of wants to pull towards the back, and that can make this neckline here like kind of rise up a little bit, and it feels a little bit choky, and I don't like that. So I just avoid lining the hood. So I simply serged the insides, and then I serged the edge, and then just turned it and stitched. And I didn't even use my cover stitch because I was feeling lazy. I just used a long straight stitch, since this does not need a stretch because I'm not going to be wearing it. So other than that, it was really simple, easy to put together. So I didn't put in any sort of waist shaping here. I thought about trying to curve it in slightly at the waist, but I decided against it because really the point of this dress to me was basically just to wear it almost like a nightgown. Like it's sort of like, it's loungewear, but you know, it's almost like wearing your PJs during the day. I plan to wear this at home with leggings or tights. I don't ever really plan on wearing this outside of the house. Like I'm not going to wear it to work or anything. And so it just wasn't necessary to me to make it more flattering. Now I will say that these type of shift dresses that do not have any waist shaping, they don't look good on me. It's just because I am so rectangular. Like I'm basically like a pair of shoulders and then the rest of me just hangs straight down. I'm like a T. That straight, unstructured dress just like doesn't hang well on me and it looks really bad. And so for later on in the month when I show you my October makes, I do have it styled a little bit more to look more attractive. But for this video, I'm just showing you the video of what the dress looks like on its own without any sort of like shaping at the waist. And it doesn't look good, but you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm just going to be chilling around the house in it and like being super cozy and comfortable. Now, one thing I will say about this fabric is that although it is super soft, it's very, very lightweight to the point where it is a little bit sheer. So I think you can tell in the video that I'm wearing a white t-shirt underneath, and you can clearly see the t-shirt because the fabric is so thin. Excuse me. So I do think that especially when it gets colder, I'm gonna have to wear another shirt underneath this. So just keep that in mind if you are interested in purchasing this fabric, that it is pretty thin and like it probably isn't going to be the warmest sweatshirt, and this colorway is definitely a little bit sheer. So be careful if you're concerned about that, and you know you are planning to wear this outside the house. Just be warned. So I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this dress. I really do like it, even though, as I said, it's not the most attractive thing. It does kind of remind me of like a cozy nightgown, and I think I'm cool with it. I'm just embracing that. So after I finished my Paige hoodie dress, I actually had a significant amount of the Atelier Brunette sweatshirt fabric left. I think I had about 1 1/3 yards that was left over, plus some scrap pieces. And for the ribbing, I really didn't use very much of it at all. Like the box came with like a 1/4 yard of rib, and the only thing that I used the ribbing for, because I didn't line the hood, was just these cuffs, and I didn't do a band or anything. And so I barely used the ribbing at all. So since I had so much fabric left, normally what I would do is I would put it back in my stash, and then I would, like, I don't know, ponder for many, many months or years of what I should do with that fabric. But I was like, you know what, my machines are already set up to be sewing with this fabric, and I might as well just cut something else out and like get it out of my stash. So I pulled out some bamboo cotton French terry that I got from Emma One Sock. I had already made a matching loungewear set earlier this year. I'd made the Made It Patterns hug hoodie and then a Butterick jogger pattern. And I had quite a bit of that fabric left as well. I had about 1 1/2 yards of that. And so I was like, you know, I bet if I combine those two fabrics, I can make a whole nother loungewear set. And then it'll actually be kind of cool because the pieces will mix and match. Like I can interchange these new pieces with my hug hoodie and whatnot. So I just decided to go for it and make another loungewear set. I wanted the process to be pretty simple, so I chose 2 patterns that I've actually made before. So let's talk about the top first. For the top, which is actually what I'm wearing right now, I made the Sew DIY Alley Sweatshirt. Now, the version that I had printed and traced out already is an older version of the pattern. She's since released an updated version of the pattern that I think has different sizing and it might have some different options. I just used the pattern that I already had in my stash, which was the older version, basically because I was just too lazy to reprint it and tape it together and all that stuff. So I just went with the one that I already had. So unfortunately, I cannot speak to like the specifics of the sizing and stuff because my version might be slightly different than the one that you would have now if you decided to buy the pattern for yourself. But I think you can get a general idea from my experience. I had made this sweatshirt one time before out of some double brushed poly, and that was basically the garment that taught me how much I hate double brushed poly. So I don't have that sweatshirt anymore. But from what I could remember, I did like it. So I went ahead and chose the Alley Sweatshirt because it's a really good pattern for color blocking. And you can do several different options. So what I chose to do is I used the green bamboo cotton French terry for the front and the back. And then it has a yoke piece and then there's actually 2-piece sleeves. Here, let me take off my jacket so you can see. So there's a yoke piece across the back, and then there's a 2-piece sleeve. So this sleeve is cut in half, this one half and the second half. And that way you can color block your fabric. And so, and then there's a band at the bottom. So I chose to do the green sweatshirt for the front and back. And then for the contrast, I did the Atelier Brunette. And then for the cuffs and the hemband, I used the ribbing that came in the needle sharp box. So like I said, the sizing is different now, but for my older version, I made an extra small, and I cannot remember, I didn't write it down like what my former alterations were, but like I'm 100% sure I shortened the sleeves, but they are actually still like a little bit too long. I think that they're actually designed to be a little on the long side, so that might be why I kept them this long. But for my personal preference, I like my sleeves to be a little bit shorter. So if I were to make this again, I might go ahead and shorten them like another inch or something, just to make them a little bit more proportional for me. But this is perfectly fine, and it feels pretty cozy. And I think that these two fabrics were a good match together because they are both quite lightweight. So, and they have a similar drape. So I think that they worked really well together. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this sweatshirt looks. And I'm going to talk about the matching pants, and then I will be inserting photos and video of me wearing the outfit. So for the pants, I decided to make the Diane Joggers, which is a pattern from 5 out of 4 patterns. And I had made these once before out of some fabric that I had from Joann, but they fit, this was like before I went on my pants fitting journey, and they fit really, really poorly. And the fabric was also just super itchy and uncomfortable to wear, so I no longer have those pants. But I went with the Diane Jogger because, again, it seems like a fairly good option for color blocking. There's a contrast yoke on the back of the pants, and then there's patch pockets that I went for in the contrast color. Now, I think that of the 2 pieces, I think the joggers were really less successful for me because I don't necessarily really love the way that the contrast fabrics look. But this is loungewear. I'm gonna be wearing it around the house. It's fine, but like, I don't know, it just wasn't, I don't really love the way that it turned out. I did use the Atelier Brunette for the primary fabric, so the legs are in the light colored sweatshirting, which again, as I said before, it is a little bit sheer, so like I do have to be concerned about underwear color and stuff, which is a little bit annoying actually, but it still works. They're still very cozy to wear, but yeah, maybe not the best choice for sweatpants if I'm gonna be honest, or if you wanna use this fabric, like get the darker colorway. But anyway, I just used what I had. And I definitely wanted to use the Atelier Brunette because if I made the pants primarily green, then they would look just like my Butterick joggers, which I already have. So I wanted something different, essentially. So that's why I decided to do that. But in retrospect, the fabric being slightly sheer, it maybe wasn't the best choice. Now for this pattern, I also cannot really give you a lot of details about sizing because I altered the pattern that I already had from the time that I made it before. And I think all I did the first time around was I just graded between different sizes. And I did some weird thing where I made all these different sizes, like extra small in the waist and small in the hips and medium in the thighs. Like, I don't know what I did, but I did some weird grading thing. And again, I probably should have been less lazy and reprinted and started over again from scratch, but I just went with the pattern that I had. So I hacked the living daylights out of this pants pattern to get it to fit me. And so like I cannot really, like I said, go into the details, but essentially I reshaped the crotch and I changed the rise in order to make the pants fit me better. And I think I did a pretty decent job. I'm happy with the fit. It definitely looks better than it did before. I don't even know at this point if I'm gonna be willing to do this. I might insert a picture of what my original Diane joggers looked like in the back because they looked so bad. But this way you guys will be able to see how awful they were the first time I made them compared to how they look now and the improvement. So I think I'm gonna be brave enough to do that, but apologies in advance if you see like how awful it looks. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the set. I think that it looks cute together. It's very comfortable. I've worn it all day today and I've been very comfy and cozy. It's not super cold today. It's like in the 50s. So it's kind of the right temperature where it's just warm enough and it's not too cold. Whereas I think in deep winter, this set might be a little bit too cold. It's not warm enough to wear in really cold weather. But yeah, happy with how this turned out. Super happy that I utilized all the fabric that I had on hand and like got some stuff out of my stash and I don't have to worry about it later. Both of these pieces were not my best sewing work. I think that I kind of am starting to slide into a place where I don't really feel like sewing. And so I was a little bit sloppy, I'm gonna say. But again, it's loungewear. I don't really care that much. It's perfectly fine to wear around the house. So yeah, that was my matching jogger set. So I do have one more finished garment to share with you. After I finished my Atelier Brunette fabric and I still had my serger set up for knits, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and sew one more thing before I switch back to wovens. And so I had bought this stripy, it's kind of like an oatmeal color and then it has black stripes, this Rayon jersey that I got from Fabric Mart a few months ago, or last month, I don't know. But yeah, it's a fairly recent purchase. And so I've made another Pattern Emporium Keep It Simple Babe tee, which is my tried and true t-shirt pattern. I made 4 of them already, and then this is the 5th one. So for this version, I made the turtleneck. So I did the fold over turtleneck, I did the short body length, and I did the long sleeves with the cuff. And so this was really simple to put together. As I just stated about the jogger set, like I think I'm starting to lose my sojo, so like I really did not care very much about matching up the stripes, so I did not do the best job on that. But I don't think that it looks any worse than like a ready-to-wear shirt, so like again, I just couldn't muster up the strength to care about like making everything perfect. But this is really, really soft and comfortable, and I like that I did the full-on turtleneck with this because this rayon jersey is quite floppy, and I knew that it was going to be. And so I think if I had done the mock neck, it would have just looked really loose and like limp. Whereas with the turtleneck, it is still floppy, but it has a little bit more structure, and I think that it looks better. I did modify the turtleneck because I tested the pattern piece because I have a really short neck. And I knew that it was going to be too long. So I actually took 2 inches out of the turtleneck piece so that when you fold it over, it's 1 inch shorter. And I think that that was actually the perfect length for me. And I also, as I said, kind of my standard adjustment, I took 3 inches out of the sleeve. I think I probably could have taken 4 on this one, but I think that it's okay. The sleeves are like slightly too long, but they're definitely not overly long, and I'm comfortable with it. Really love this t-shirt pattern, and there's a reason why it's my tried and true. It's very comfortable to wear. It's fitted, but it's not tight. It'll layer under things really beautifully, or you can wear it on its own. I just think that I'm gonna get a ton of wear out of this garment over the fall and winter months, and even in the spring. And I could definitely see myself making more of this turtleneck style because I just really do like it. So that was the last thing that I finished. Oh, and for the hem, I was feeling super lazy and didn't want to get out my cover stitch, so I just zigzagged the bottom hem. It was the only hem that you have because everything else has cuffs or like bands. So I just zigzagged the bottom hem and like didn't stress about it. So those were all of the things that I sewed this week. A more productive week than usual, but knits always sew up faster than wovens. As far as what I'm going to do next, so I do have one more project in progress. Earlier this year, I had made a second sew over at Heather dress, and it's in black, and like I really like it, but the one problem that I had was the neckline is way too wide. Like I made the neckband too long, and so I needed to shorten it because I just didn't like the way that it was like super deep and scoopy and open. My first version doesn't look like that. So I went ahead and I ripped off the neckband that was on there, and I'm gonna shorten it and then put it back on. So that's just a quick little refashion that I should be able to do. And then after that, I honestly don't really know what I'm gonna do next. I will be filming a November plans video that's gonna go up very soon. I think it's gonna go up on Monday. But as of right now, I still need to figure out what my plans are because I don't know, I want all of these garments in my wardrobe, but I don't really feel like sewing any of them. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do next. So I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch my videos. I really do appreciate that you take time out of your day to tune into my channel. And if you like this video, I hope that you will hit the like button and consider subscribing. I'll see you again next time.